Loretta. Only got 37 cents we can settle for it.
Not enough now.
I like the shirt, Mel.
Say deviate from that. My name is Mel Packer. I live at 623 Kirtland Street in the neighborhood known as Point Breeze in the city of Pittsburgh. I'm a parent, a concerned citizen. I'm with the Green Party. I'm the nominee of the Green Party for the U.S. Senate. Allow me to open with a quote already used by a friend of mine who testified at the previous hearing in Williamsport. This quote isn't actually from one of my favorite people, Donald Rumsfeld, the former Secretary of Defense, but it's an appropriate comment in which he said, there are known knowns, there are known unknowns, and there are the unknown unknowns. Keep that one in mind as I testify today. Earlier this year, according to a public statement in Williamsport by DEP Director John Hanger, we were told we've only been practicing hydraulic fracturing for about 5 years. This is, of course, completely contrary to the industry statements, which claim such an incredibly long, and as they've stated, incredibly safe history of fracturing that I have sometimes wondered if the bright star that brought throngs to the manger of Jesus might not have been a flaring operation instead. This history forces us to ask the DEP and the Environmental Quality Board why it's taken so long to address this issue. Since fracking began, people have been filing complaints of wells contaminated and useless, animal drinking ponds totally polluted and contaminated, cattle and other animals sickened and dying, birth deformities in calves, drinking water that must be purchased or even delivered by the same drilling companies that at the same time claim it's not our fault. Apparently we're supposed to believe that those companies deliver the water out of the goodness of their hearts while claiming no responsibility for the contamination. So we have to ask, why has it taken so long for the DEP and the EQB to even begin this process? And if it's taken this long to begin, how long will it take to end? How much longer will the citizens of this state have to stand by while one of the basic elements of life, water, is being destroyed? In addition, as other people have commented, what safeguards will we put in place to prevent further contamination 10, 15, 20 years down the road when these companies have taken their money and they're gone, folks? They're not sticking around. They come in, they take it, and they leave. If industry's already 5 years ahead of the DEP, how far behind will the DEP be in 5 more years as industry develops new, unproven, untried chemical compounds and practices? There's a very old coal mining song. It goes something like this. There's 2 lines. It's go, coal train, pulling down the track, taking away our coal, and they can't put it back. We can change that, in this case, to drillers, fracking out and back, taking away our water, and they can't put it back. Because, in fact, you can't put it back. When the water's gone, polluted, aquifers poisoned, filled with chemicals, wells sealed off due to chemical contamination, the water that we need to function as human beings, clean water, pure water, is gone, as Loretta testified and many others, and will never come back. And the problem is not just gas infiltration, although I think this has a tendency to concentrate on gas infiltration. It's the issue of chemical contamination. And I want to speak very specifically as a medical practitioner in emergency medicine about a case in Colorado so you understand how serious this can be. Maybe you all know this, but I want to remind you, in the year 2008, a nurse in Colorado had to take care of a worker who came in from a well who had been doused with fracking chemicals. They would not release the list of chemicals because it was a proprietary secret. That nurse hovered near death with kidney, liver, and I believe either lung or heart failure, I think it was lung failure, for weeks while they wouldn't release it. That finally released the list of chemicals, they were able to treat her. But it's not just the list of chemicals, which you're talking about. It's the concentration of chemicals. If somebody comes into me who has contamination that arises from a chemical, say they're working in some steel mill, they come in with a material data safety sheet. They may even come in with a container of that fluid. I can call poison control and I can get some information on that right away. They come in with a list of 96 chemicals. What am I supposed to do? I have no idea what I'm seeing here, what I'm treating here. I can't just call poison control and say, here's 96 chemicals. They want to know what the concentration is. There's no brand name, there's nothing. This is just a witch's brew that they brewed up and shoved into the ground, and we've got to treat people, plus the practitioner, him or herself, can be poisoned by that process. So this board has a huge responsibility to recognize that you're already years behind in controlling this monster. You are years behind in getting control of the damage with far more yet to come, even if we stopped all the drilling right now. The only answer, and I know it's not in your purview and it's not within your range to do this, but the only answer is a moratorium on drilling now, and not just on new wells, but on all Marcellus fracturing until it's proven that it can be done without poisoning our water. As a medical practitioner, I have to take a vow to do no harm, and the DEP should take exactly that vow. I believe there's enough evidence already in towns, villages, cities, and farms all over this state to tell the drillers to shut it down. It's beyond my comprehension why any government body that purports to represent the best interest of its constituents would not close the barn door before the rest of the cows get out. There's too damn many loose already. Now remember my quote at the beginning. The consequences of Marcellus shale fracturing are one of the unknown unknowns. And we need to prevent medicine. Next year's too late. We need it now. There is a class war being waged against the citizens of this state by those with money and economic power against those of us who don't have the same amount of money, nor do we have the same amount of economic power. But we have taken up that battle. You can see this. You can see it in every other meeting that's taken place. The citizens have taken up this battle. They're going to wage this battle to protect our environment, our communities, our families, and future generations. And we're going to do it with every means at our disposal, because we know which side we're on. As the old labor song goes, we ask the DEP, which side are you on?